You're not always going to have the chance to get ready every time you need to give a little speech. You might be at a work event giving a toast or called out in class to give a comment on something. But even if you can't always be fully prepared, you can at least be confident. Let's discuss a few common principles to keep in mind when you're in an impromptu situation. Number one, you want to keep things short and honest. Your message is more important than how it's said. If you want to convey a genuine congratulations to the person you're toasting or celebrating an important event, relating it to a story or personal anecdote is a great way to establish a connection with your audience. Try doing this in a straightforward way that makes it fairly obvious on how your story relates to the topic at hand. For example, if you're asked to give a toast about a fellow employee at a work event, it may be fitting to say something like, "I remember the first day Ella started at our organization. She was extremely nervous, but jumped at the chance to help us set up for our big event that we were hosting that day. I knew within minutes that meeting her, I knew that she would be a great fit for our team." Here, Ella's first day isn't the focus of the speech. More likely, you're congratulating her on winning an award or getting a promotion, but sharing that more personal detail with the audience, you're winning their attention. I want to stress the importance of honesty here. If you're asked to speak on a topic that you know nothing about, pick a story that relates as closely as possible to that subject. If your colleague mentions something about it, use that to segue into your toast, but don't try to fake knowledge. Number two, relate to your audience and your situation. Draw connections between the stories you tell and the organization you're speaking to, or comment on the city you're in as an intro to your speech. You're building rapport, and this will make it more receptive for your audience. Number three, use a structure. One of the main things that people fear when they're asked to speak publicly is being derailed or not knowing how to get back to your original topic. Using a structure in a prepared speech is an absolute given, but using a structure in an unprepared speech will make it easier for you to speak and less nerve-wracking too. So let's talk about two potential structures that you can use. These structures align with our principles in that both of them are short and very easy to remember. The first one works well if you're asked to speak on your opinion or about an issue in class or at an event. Remember this word, prep. PREP stands for point, reason, example, point. First, you have to be very clear about the point that you're making. Then explain your reasoning behind it. From there, transition into any relevant examples or even two to illustrate that point. And after each example, relate it back to the original thoughts. Finally, recap the point with what you were making originally, and maybe say it in a bit of a different way to recap it. The second structure that you're going to be using works a little bit better when you're trying to make a conversation that's more personable. The word you want to think of here is FAT, F-A-T. FAT stands for feeling, anecdote, and tie back. Open with how you feel about a given topic or a situation. Then use an anecdote to somehow relate this to a personal experience. And finally, tie that back to the story or back to your original topic or situation to contextualize this for your audience. Now, these aren't the only structures out there. A lot of people use different strategies to survive these types of unprepared interactions, but these ones are great starting points to start practicing from. I want you to think of public speaking like a muscle that you can exercise and make stronger over time. The more you work on your impromptu skills in low-stakes situations, the better that you're going to perform in the high-stakes ones. Now, one of the best ways is to practice by yourself in your spare time. While you're stuck in traffic, waiting for a friend, or even before you go to sleep, pick a different topic each day and give a little speech to yourself. Now, I know this sounds a little bit funny, but if you're able to keep it short and sweet and use the structures we've provided, you'll really be able to improve your impromptu speaking over time. Otherwise, you can practice with the group that you trust. This can be your local Toastmasters, a speech and debate class, or even the classmates that you're with right now. Now, public speaking is really hard. There are people that study it for years and still mess up their intros or stay off topics once in a while. So don't worry about being perfect every single time. With a little bit of practice and prompting, you're already off to a great start. Hey, Kyle. Okay, audio is off.